Listen, this is why I will always love Shirley Ralph. She will tell you like it is. That's the Jamaican in her. We Jamaicans, we will tell you like it is.
What you want to tell your 15-year-old self right now on this carpet?
There's nothing wrong with your nose. There is nothing wrong with the shade of your skin. There is nothing wrong with the way your hair grows out of your head. And there is certainly nothing wrong with your lips, because there will be some people called Kardashians and they will pay $10,000 for your lips. Hang in there, 15-year-old Cheryl Lee Ralph. You're good.
Gotta love Cheryl Lee Ralph. Gotta love Cheryl Lee Ralph. As always, thank you for joining us here with Conversations with Taz. For getting to it with Taz and Chris. It only took me a year to get the direction right.
I'm here.
Yeah, if you're new here, this is our resident Ginger. This is Wednesday night. This is the fun night.
It is.
When I was sent that clip, I was like, we have to open the show with that. We have to open. So shouts out to the person who sent me that. That was perfect. Right before we went live, I was forwarded this clip. I did not know that Jack Smith, the special master over all things Trump right now on the federal level, was issuing subpoenas. So let's take a look and then we'll dive in.
Holy shit, you guys! Yes! I'm gonna be talking fast. Jack Smith sent out a massive round of subpoenas December 9th. They include subpoenas to the Trump campaign officials with new questions about who funded lawyers for the witnesses. Remember that? And a potential investigation into obstruction of justice. 24 categories of information, communications, or information about Dominion and Smartmatic, trying to establish whether anyone knew the conspiracy theories were false. Info on other Trump entities besides the Save America Pact. This includes the Make America Pact, or Make America Great Again Pact, the Save American Joint Fundraising Committee, and the Trump's MAGA Committee, and any groups affiliated with them. This also includes information on the Election Defense Fund. That's the one that January... Do you guys remember the one January 6th? They found it but didn't actually exist? What the hell they spent the money on? People were sending money to the Election Defense Fund, but it didn't actually exist. More information on the fraudulent elector scheme, naming more than 100 fake electors in 7 states. It also asks for the analysis of the legality of the scheme. And last but not least, it demands documents about the funding of the Ellipse rallies. That would include Ginny Thomas. Holy fuck, this is huge. This is a really big case. Oh, I love this for all of them.
And let's not forget that all of the speakers that spoke at the Ellipse were paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that also comes into question, who paid them?
Yeah, and they weren't, and they asked for a lot. So, the big mouth, the former Fox Entertainment host, she demanded a lot for all of her cameo appearance.
Mm-hmm. Who is beginning to look a lot like prison everywhere they go.
Yeah, they're getting to the point where they could fund a new prison just for all of these people.
They're gonna need it. I mean, there's one state that seems to have a lot of space in their prison, and they need the prison labor. I'm just saying, I believe it's a federal prison. You can send them over there. Don't send them to Kentucky. Jesus. Do not send the Trump cronies to the federal prison that is here in Kentucky. Do not do it, because we already got enough crazy Trump sycophants. They will be in here in droves, caravan and clogging up the highways again to go get Trump and the whole family. And don't send them here. Okay, do not send them here.
Since we're removing Trump's name from other things, we could put a Trump correctional facility out there somewhere.
Trump prison, yeah.
If you want the Trump prison instead of a Trump golf course where people are buried. So, yeah.
I'm telling you, if I was Ivana, I would come back and haunt all of them every second of the day. Like, no, y'all didn't do this to me. But if y'all remember last week, we talked about little Mr. Skip Bayless. And remember, he said, nobody had a problem with what I said. Although the entire internet, I mean, every social media platform
blew up.
Yeah. And we saw Shannon Sharp look like he was about to come across the desk at him.
Yeah.
Several people came out to check him. But the one that we rarely see say too much or get his feathers ruffled. Yeah. Mr. Daytime TV himself. Let's take a look.
Now, do y'all recall Skip Bayless said that nobody had a problem with his tweet on Damar Hamlin? Well, let's just say Michael Strahan had a few choice words for Mr. Skip Bayless. But don't believe me. Just watch. Press play.
I've struggled with this in a lot of ways because it's not so much just about, being an athlete and experiencing being on the field and being that close to guys, and then you see something happen to a young man like that. It's just, you don't have to be a football player to understand how big this was. And you spoke about humanity. And I think, but there were things done here by someone here at this network that were inhumane. And we sit here and we talk about how good, and I'm sorry to take it this way, but this route, but I just felt like sensible people and sensible human beings have a heart. And they understand that your words and what you say really have an impact, not only on that young man's family. And so all the attention should be on this young man, his recovery. For sensible people like us here to say that it didn't affect anybody at this network, nobody at this network minded, that's a lie. Obviously didn't talk to us, because it matters to us, and it matters to any sensible human being that this young man's life was bigger than any football.
Now, y'all all know Rex Ryan. He's the ex-Bills coach. And I want y'all to take a listen at how he responded when he saw what took place to Damar Hamlin on last Monday night. Now, this is how you respond when you actually have a heart and you have a soul.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's all right, Rex. Yeah, when he came out, did we win? We needed that.
Yeah.
As fans, we needed it. I mean, this guy is a legend. A legend. You talk about a fighter? Yeah. Dang right, he's a fighter. He's a dang legend. Thank you. I needed it as a dad, as a coach, and as a fan of this game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you don't apologize.
And Rex Ryan, you ain't ever got to apologize for standing up and being a man and putting your full emotions on display. That's what I call healthy masculinity. And a lot of men could learn from you. And those would be facts on facts on facts on top of facts. Carry on.
Every time I see that clip of Rex, I get choked up. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
But you don't really see Michael Strahan jump into anything. You don't. He usually stays neutral. Whatever his opinions are, he keeps behind the scenes. At least in me watching him. I know I don't see everything that he does, but I've never seen him really jump into anything. For him to speak up, Skip, you done messed up. And can we finally take Skip off the air? Can we find, because I am tired of his anti-blackness. He is consistently challenging, talking down to black men and black athletes, period. And it's like, bruh, you what have you done?
Right. Yes. And Shannon, at this point, Shannon's come a long way. I mean, I know he originally started out, his first job at CBS, and that didn't really work out, and it was kind of the format that it was in. It just didn't work out for him. He's taken off, and he has such a positive following because he never shies away from just keeping it real. I mean, he will call out anybody if he needs to, and it's not in a way that he's just going after people. He's just trying to speak what he sees, what he feels is right or wrong, instead of any agenda or anything that could be perceived as either favoritism or anything else. That's not Shannon, and he's across the table from somebody who's notorious for his opinion being the last word, and people are tired of it. I mean, it's one thing that, you know, all he wants to talk about is the Cowboys, but just the way he goes after people in general, and the way that he doesn't go after other people. I mean, he'd do well on evening Fox, but as far as talking sports, where it's diverse, where we know how a lot of the ownerships are in certain leagues and how the players are handled in certain leagues, it's you can't talk about sports without knowing the landscape and being fair to what is real, what is historically real in a lot of these leagues. I know a lot of what he does. He knows who's across the table from him, so he tries to put on that face for Shannon, but he's been going at this too long for us not to see enough. And I think Shannon could sit across the table from anybody else, and it would still be a hit because Shannon's got the followers. I mean, he does well in his podcast. I do see his interviews when he does. He did a great one with Deion Sanders recently, which I saw that.
But
those are positive things. Those are positive interviews, and it doesn't have to be these one-sided attacks, especially when you're dealing with in a situation that is not just ultra sensitive because a player went down. This was a human being. We put the sport aside. We didn't talk about how this will affect the magnitude of the game or when are they going to reschedule the game. We saw a player fighting for his life. This was a brother. This was a son. This was a family member. That's all we saw. And it took us all by storm. We didn't see this coming. The players didn't see this coming. Neither did the audience, the stadium. So to go in any other direction at that moment, and then thereon afterwards to backtrack desperately on a day when Shannon chose not to go in, that doesn't win you medals.
It doesn't. But I would love to see Shannon sit across from Jamil. I think that would be a great.
Oh yeah. And she does know sports because she was doing that for a long time, and she still talks about it.
Yeah, and those of you all that follow the NFL, the wild card game between Miami and Buffalo, Tua will not be playing. He is still on concussion protocol. He will not be back. Y'all stop DMing me on Instagram about it. Y'all do know the same amount of time it takes y'all to Instagram, DM me some of these questions. Y'all could have just Googled it. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but
Tua's been through a lot, though. I mean, if people really look past the fact that the Dolphins might be in trouble without Tua, do they realize this guy's head is not right? I mean, there's people calling for his retirement. I mean, there's players that have left the game early because they know what comes with too many concussions. And they need to leave Tua alone unless they're trying to talk about the best for him. Because this isn't about the Dolphins. This isn't about their playoff game. This is about a man's future.
Yeah, because I can only imagine what he's gone through because I wish I had better coaches and better athletic directors around me while an athlete. Most of my most severe injuries came from cheering. Surprise, surprise. But the amount of concussions I got, they should have sat me down and pulled me from the roster well before they did. And the migraines that I have to this day, I cannot imagine what he goes through on a daily basis because my concussions were not as severe as the one that he suffered. Mine is just due to I should have been sat down. I really should have, especially when I got hit on the sidelines by a football player. Somebody should have said, that's enough for you. No, it was, you going to be here at practice on Monday?
Just like an employer would.
And I'm glad, things are beginning to change in sports all the way around. Quick caveat, Miss Osaka, the reason why she pulled out of her last tennis match, she is an expectant mother. So congratulations to her.
Also.
And yes, this is a good thing. Sometimes we get pregnancy announcements and it's like, oh, I didn't want this. No, this is a good, happy thing.
It's not Nick Cannon.
Right. Jesus.
We all number 15. Lucky number 15.
He took It Takes a Village to the wrong level. Okay. That's not what we meant, Nick. Nick. When we said it takes a village, we meant people helping you, not you creating and populating the whole village.
But we said we got Friday the 13th coming up. We didn't say that's number 13.
Right. Sheesh. And I thought my grandma had a bunch of kids, but Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
Unfortunately, with Tua, though, and once again, this was in prime time at Cincy. We did see that.
You should have never changed the name of the stadium.
The Jungle?
I'm talking
about the Jungle. It's the Jungle.
Well, the Jungle was Riverfront, but but it's like soon as we change the name of that stadium, the shit ain't been right. Shit has not been. And see, also,
was it pay more? Pay more.
Bengals babies. Also, when y'all stopped honoring the smartest of the smart in the Cincinnati public school area by having a lovely ceremony at the stadium, it started going wrong. Bring the kids back, okay? Bring
How long have they stopped doing that? Years?
A year after we got rid of Marvin Lewis.
Oh.
And that's when everybody started getting broken at the stadium.
Wow.
Yeah. And my superstitious island asked, no, my kids keep going. You want to go? No, I'll go to a game at any other state. No, because I'm clumsy. I feel like if I go, I'm gonna like fall out the rafters or some shit. No, I'm good.
Hey, we've seen some unlucky things happening at the Jungle or at the Paycor, whatever they want to call.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't Paycor. I don't pay.
So many things have changed names in Cincinnati. The last time I went up there to go visit Daddy, Like there are major landmarks where I'm looking for the name because that's how I know to get around. I've not lived in Cincinnati in over a decade, so I need these landmarks to get around. When I tell you I pulled over and had to call Daddy because I'm like, my GPS is scrambling.
Yeah.
Because of all the cell phone towers just in downtown. And I'm like, I need to find this building. He's like, oh, show me where you are. So I take a picture, send it. He's like, oh, that is the building. I'm like, no, it's not. Look at the design. Don't look at the name.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're driving, you can't inspect the design. You're looking for the name of something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is still okay. I was like, all right, I can take the right. It's a straight shot to his house. But think about, I'm looking for a particular sign because I know when I see the sign, I make a right. It's a straight shot.
Yeah, we get used to names. We get used to names because they're usually nice and big and something that's obvious compared to looking for architecture.
Yeah, they're not just changing the name; they're changing the color palette of it also.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking for a red, white, and blue sign with one particular day. It's a whole. I'm like, y'all just mess with me at this point.
And that's why you're in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, just like I had a cousin, like quite a few of my family, you know this, Chris, they don't, have graduated from the University of Cincinnati, whether undergraduate or graduate. So a lot of times we use our alumni discount and you can rent out certain halls like for weddings, birthday parties and stuff on campus. And it's kind of cute and you get like Bearcat swag and stuff like that. Well, one of my cousins was like, yeah, I'm doing this little thing, blah, blah, blah. And she names this place. And I'm like, where is this at on campus? It's the former Nippert Stadium. And I was like,
that changed too.
Because there's like a little hole off to the side next to it. And it was named after Nippert.
Yeah.
I parked so wrong. I'm like, okay, fortunately in Cincinnati, they do have, I call them little drunk cabs because they're free. There's like really no shelter and it'll take you like short distances. I had to get in one of those to get from the car to the place. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a get into it with Taz and Chris if we didn't make fun of Elon Musk.
We're back. Oh, Elon, Tesla X.
So, coming from the Business Insider, they hate him as much as I do. I love it. Elon Musk might have tweeted himself into hot water again with a regulator. Regulators, mount up. So here are the key points. A U.S. agency is examining a tweet from Elon Musk about possibly disabling a driver monitoring feature. Tesla's FSD has a feature that reminds beta testers to apply pressure to the steering wheel. The NHTSA said it's reviewing the tweet as part of its investigation into at least Tesla's crashes. This fool. So this is
wow.
He's stupid. He's stupid. Y'all still think money equates intelligence? Because
yeah. Oh boy, all these Tesla owners out there thought they were really getting some state of the art. Yeah. They can be on the first dumping mission to Mars or somewhere, just dump them in space, though. Keep all floating.
And as much as I cannot stand Musk or his practices at Tesla, I must clear the air. Recently, there was a story that hit and all of the headlines keep saying Tesla driver, Tesla driver, Tesla driver. The Tesla did not malfunction. This man drove his family off a cliff intentionally. He is now in custody. It had nothing to do with Tesla, the company, had nothing to do with the car malfunctioning, although we know Teslas malfunction all the time. That was not the case this time. We can't.
Driver malfunction.
Yeah, we can't blame Elon for this one. Trust me.
That wasn't on. We got enough on the list, anyways.
Yeah, I double and triple check that one. Is it his fault? But
Tesla, Twitter, and SpaceX.
Yeah. So Elon's buddies in the GOP, I'm not even gonna break these videos up because we're just gonna call this segment the GOP GOPing. Take a look.
The House rules requires that when you leave office, you turn over your constituent files, people who have grievances, people who have suggested things. You create a file, and as a congressperson, you're supposed to hand that file over to the person who's taking your office. Madison Cawthorn did not turn over his constituents' files to a successor before leaving office, as the House rules require. He's moved to Florida, left the residence in his former different hanging, and he cannot be reached. He just left them. Stop voting for Republicans. They don't give a shit about you.
Does anybody remember this? By a vote of 218 to 208, Democrats passed an amendment to the 2023 NDAA that would require white supremacists, Nazi supporters, and extremists to be removed from the military. And 208 Republicans voted against taking those people out of our military. How Republican of them.
Yo, what the fuck did I just watch?
Today in support of a select committee to investigate the weaponization of the federal government, something I have a lot of experience firsthand. I proudly served as the 52nd Secretary of Interior, and despite the deep state's repeatedly attempts to stop me, I stand before you as a duly elected member of the United States Congress and tell you that a deep state exists and is perhaps the strongest covert weapon the left has against the American people. There is no doubt the federal government deep state coordinates with liberal activists and uses politicians and willing media to carry their water. The deep state runs secret messaging campaigns with one goal in mind: to increase its power to censor and persuade the American people. Dark money groups funded by liberal billionaires and foreign investors funnel money to shell organizations and repeatedly attempt to destroy the American West. In many cases, they want to wipe out the American cowboy completely, remove public access to our lands, and turn Montana into a national park. They want to control our land and our lifestyle. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to submit a five-part series of investigative articles by the Capitol Research Center entitled Arabella's Long War, Keep It in the Ground, into the congressional record.
I mean, I think that was Ryan Zinke, the Republican congressman from Montana, who was also the Secretary of the Interior for Donald Trump, right? And it sounds like he's saying that the deep state is real and it's run by Democrat dark money. And we're using all of that power and influence to get rid of cowboys and turn Montana into a national park? What? Montana is only 30% owned by the federal government. And the only people trying to get rid of cowboys are people that don't like that football team. And if this deep state is real and it's run by powerful, rich Democrats, why aren't there more of them in power in different branches of the government? And if they're paying for activists, where the fuck is my paycheck? You picked a winner, Montana.
Here's what Jim Jordan has to say about the newly formed House Select Subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government, which he claims will investigate anti-conservative bias from federal law enforcement.
I tell you what, dozens of whistleblowers who've come talk to Republican staff on the Judiciary Committee don't think this is a ploy.
Look, I don't like the FBI. They told Martin Luther King to kill himself. They probably killed Fred Hampton. They probably spied on Black Lives Matter. So I really don't like that Jim Jordan is forcing me to defend the FBI here. But, like, a lot of what he's saying is just wrong.
It's not a ploy when the Department of Justice treats parents as terrorists, moms and dads who are simply showing up at a school board meeting.
So the FBI did create threat tags for threats against school board officials. What they didn't do was investigate parents for just going to school board meetings or having opinions about curriculum.
It's not a ploy when the FBI pays Twitter $3 million. Not one, not two, $3 million to censor American citizens.
Fun fact, they did not pay Twitter to censor people. They did flag certain tweets for Twitter to review, which is not great for a federal agency to do so, but there was no evidence of compulsion by the federal government for Twitter to take down these tweets. Separately, there's this thing where if a federal law enforcement agency obtains communication records from someone as part of a court order, they're legally obligated to pay whoever gave them the communication records, in this instance Twitter, for the time and effort spent in collecting those records and handing them over. So yeah, there are some iffy things here, namely, maybe the FBI shouldn't flag tweets for review, but there's no credible evidence that the payments that Twitter received from the FBI were at all connected to the censoring of anybody on Twitter.
It's not a ploy when the Department of Homeland Security tries to set up a disinformation governance board, because we all know that the Department of Homeland Security can tell what's good speech and what is bad speech.
So he's talking about the DHS Disinformation Governance Board, which explicitly sought out 2 channels of disinformation. One, disinformation spread by foreign governments like Russia or China, and 2, disinformation spread by smugglers that would encourage immigrants to come to the U.S.-Mexico border. So neither of these actually targeted American free speech, and the second one actually promotes the conservative idea of limiting illegal immigration to the U.S., which seems like something that Jim Jordan would like.
Government was telling people they couldn't go to church just a few years ago.
Global pandemic, which killed over 1 million people in the U.S. Next.
If you're a pro-life activist, you're going to get your door kicked in, you're going to get arrested and handcuffed in front of your 7 kids and your spouse for simply praying in front of an abortion clinic and telling the guy who was harassing your son to knock it off.
He's talking about Mark Houck, who he conveniently didn't mention was actually arrested for allegedly twice assaulting a man volunteering as an escort at a Planned Parenthood. Did I get it all?
As I said, the GOPing.
Yeah. And of all people, Jim Jordan, like, if we all could make money off of fact checking him, man, I could retire.
And if the deep state Democrats are paying activists, I'm with my friend Indy. Where's my check?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They never broadcast the things that they have voted against.
Yeah, I mean, it kills me how many people think that activism is profitable. Like, you become an activist and you get all these sponsorship deals, and first of all, anonymity is the name of the game. Now, some of us can't really be anonymous because if I am a sparkly ball dipped in glitter. Okay, there is nothing I can do to not stand out. All right.
Yeah, stand out at the comic book store.
One person said it best about 15 years ago. They're like, you're a drag queen without being a man or on stage. And I was like, you know what? That is spot on. I am heavily animated. I am very over the top, and I am entertaining. At least I think I'm entertaining.
Yeah, part of the MCU.
But we're trying to get rid of Cowboys now. I
agree with about the football team. Yeah.
Yeah. Get rid of them for years.
Yeah, I mean the ranting and raving is like, it's interesting how everything to them is a spin to put it on the left, when a lot of what they're spinning, and this has been going on for years, are things they're doing. It's like they're trying to talk about weaponizing. Didn't we just sit through 4 years of weaponizing all the way up to the very, very end? What are you talking about? It's like, what?
And the weaponizing is just investigating what needs to be investigated.
I mean, the ones that the man that they bent the knee to, he directly went to the FBI and basically was telling them who to investigate and who not to investigate by putting his man in there. What part of weaponizing went directly to that level? Yeah,
They're special. But y'all know what time it is. It is merch time. And once again, thank you for everybody who's already placed an order. And if you have not placed an order, what are you waiting on?
Bengals merch.
I am first of all, I'm not paying that licensing fee. And those y'all that didn't exactly like your Christmas gifts, or you're concerned that your significant other isn't gonna get you the right thing for Valentine's Day, this one's for you. We'll see you in 2 and 2. And congratulations to Fisk University. Now, if y'all remember, I keep telling y'all, leave that cryptocurrency alone because there's really no regulation and its worth is iffy. Remember, I've been keeping y'all updated on Sam Bankman-Fried. Here's the latest update coming from CBSNews.com. Sam Bankman-Fried pleads not guilty to charges he defrauded FTX customers. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX, on Tuesday pleaded not guilty to charges that he defrauded customers out of millions of dollars worth of digital assets. Wearing a backpack, Bankman-Fried made his way through a sea of cameras as he entered the Manhattan courthouse on a rainy day to stand before U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan. Bankman-Fried sat silent in the courtroom while attorney Mark Cohen announced his client's plea. He pleads not guilty to all counts, Cohen said. Judge Kaplan set a tentative trial date of October 2nd. Now, they were able to recover some of the money, but not all of the money. They're still trying to figure out where the rest of the money went.
So the Tesla score.
I'm thinking somebody better call Switzerland. Now, the human yeast infection that keeps on giving, aka George Santos, I think he's trying to break Trump's world record on how many lies one person can tell before they just stop. Because
Just self-imploding.
Right before we went live, I was watching MSNBC, and yet another GOP member was like, yeah, Santos told me that he was on this championship team of this particular sport of a school he never attended.
Yeah, the volleyball. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I mean, really?
Yeah. Y'all, let's break down the latest of Santos.
I seriously thought you were fucking with me. I was like, this man cannot. I thought you were fucking with me. But you were not fucking with me. George Santos claimed to be one of the first people in the U.S. diagnosed with COVID-19. That's bogus too. Does it ever end? And he's smug as shit. He is not stepping down. He doesn't give a fuck. His constituents, the GOP, they all want him to step down. He's not stepping down. This man has access to national security. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
He's a national joke. He's an international joke. But this joke's got to go.
When he called himself a Jew, that was ridiculous. And for him to make up this story that his parents were Holocaust survivors is beyond the pale.
No, I've never seen it, and I hope never to see it again.
I just can't see any way that I or my colleagues can deal with someone who is, appearing to be a pathological liar. He is a stain on the House of Representatives.
Tell you why the Republicans are not going to do away with George Santos. So at this point, we know George Santos has lied about everything. All in the halls of Congress trying to find out, boy, why you lying? Are you going to quit? What you going to do? Now, as of today, the Nassau County Republicans have called for him to resign. That's the area in which he was elected, saying he was a fraud. He's not welcome here. Please get out. Well, they didn't ask Kevin McCarthy, who you know is now the speaker, what are you going to do about George Santos? And he says he's just going to follow the Constitution. Wrong answer. Baby, the Constitution does not say anything about a House Speaker pushing a member of Congress out when they turn out to be a fraud. But I'm going to tell you why they're not going to push him out. Why Kevin McCarthy is not going to do anything about George Santos. One, because if George Santos leaves and there's a special election, they know that that seat is going to flip for Democrats, which would then take their slim margin of a majority to an even slimmer margin of a majority. And Kevin McCarthy and the other Republicans at large, because some of them do believe this next thing that I'm about to say, don't have real morals and values. They care about power and control. And so George Santos has already told them, I'm voting for you. That's why he kept voting for Kevin McCarthy. And then, we got the report a couple of days ago when one of the times when he voted, he threw up the white power sign, which is beyond me because you're not white. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole other time. So Kevin McCarthy knows that he at least has a vote in George Santos. He can always strong arm him into voting the way he wants him to vote. So he's not going to get rid of him. So I think that the reporters that have access to him in Congress should ask every single day. Don't let up on it because you're a fraud. Big fraud. So we need to know. That's your boy? Is that your future king? Who is he? Who does this man belong to? And their answer is the Republicans.
Well, they don't take it. They don't discipline their own. I mean, we've seen this, but they'll be screaming if it was somebody across the aisle. But then again, the Democrats would have handled their own.
And if you all have not seen the video, it's on my page. It's in the playlist marked news updates. And it's Joy Reid versus Byron Donalds.
Florida. Yes, from Florida.
And in the very beginning of the clip, the Republicans are going for retaliation. They're taking certain Democrats off of committees and putting Marjorie Taylor Greene and George Santos in there. This is about keeping power. They know he's a fraud. And my thing is, how much in jeopardy are you going to put the United States, its citizens and its residents in jeopardy for you to remain in power? Because Santos, thus far, he's received money from Russia, Russian oligarchs, excuse me, from Italy, what are y'all with? Like, you're not going to have any power should he sell the inside information he's getting as while being a congressman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They got to get over the fact that they're looking at their numbers and look at the potential threat this could do. But they're worried about numbers. Oh, it's slim. It could get slimmer.
Just like
This is
go ahead.
This is the current state of the right. They're all in for power, and once they feel they have power, they're not working for anybody but themselves. So Santos is just a number, just like Herschel would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of numbers. And like I said, if it was on the left, we would have heard nothing but this only, aside from Hunter Biden. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they haven't really come out and condemned this or demanded him out, or it doesn't surprise me. But it's horrible to think of the threat this could cause with somebody having documents or anything else in their hands. So, yeah,
and
that's it.
And even though the powers that be are currently investigating the whole Biden document thing, the GOP has already put together a committee to investigate. And for full disclosure, an update on that also coming from CBSnews.com. Excuse me. More Biden documents marked classified found in at least one other location. CBS News has learned that more documents marked classified from Joe Biden's tenure as vice president were found in at least one additional location than previously known. The discovery was made after lawyers for Mr. Biden, y'all mean President Biden, found the first batch of roughly 10 documents at a private office in Washington, D.C. on November 2nd. It is not clear when the additional documents with classified markings were found. A source familiar with the Justice Department's review did not identify the additional location where documents were found. The U.S. attorney charged with investigating the Biden documents is aware of the additional documents, but sources couldn't say where these documents were being housed. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Lawyers designated by Mr. Why y'all keep calling him Mr. Biden to handle his post-vice presidency papers did not respond to multiple phone calls. NBC News first reported that additional Biden documents with classified markings were found at another location. Here's the thing. Before y'all go, this is the same as Trump. No, it's not. Okay. Both of these, well, at least one confirmed location was a think tank, and the documents have been under lock and key as they're supposed to. The powers that be were immediately notified. Here is the breakdown with NARA, because when Biden's lawyers contacted NARA, who were in charge of political records, they were like, no, nothing can be missing. everything's accounted for. Well, obviously not, boo-boo.
Right.
And Biden is not hiding from it. Biden already released one statement regarding the one location. And it's like, just like I've explained countless times, you have the right to certain records. Like he was involved in a think tank, if he was writing a memoir, but they stay in that location. Like there are presidential records in every presidential library. Speaking of which, what Trump doesn't where is Trump's library? Oh, guess you can't have a library if you can't read.
Yeah. We know how he did in school. Yeah.
I still want to know who was in charge of his presidential briefings. Like, how do you put together a picture book for presidential briefing?
Yeah. Yeah, but you can guess that all the other entertainment shows out there are probably going full speed ahead. I haven't checked in to catch a view of what might be going on the radical networks, but I can best be assured they're flooding their airways because they got something to talk about.
Oh yeah, they're trying to equate it to the same thing, and they're like, when are they gonna raid Biden's house like they did Trump? Biden's house doesn't have these documents in it. Biden didn't have boxes upon boxes. There was less than a dozen. Less than a dozen.
You didn't have a U-Haul of these.
I'm just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure by now most people have heard that Katie Porter has announced that next election cycle she will be running for the Senate. She can do what she wants. I don't know what they got going on. The person whose Senate seat she says she's taking over has not officially said that they're leaving office, but we don't know what happened behind the scenes. My two issues are, one, you could have waited for this woman to say yes. I mean, I know she's 91 years old. She's like the most senior Democratic senator, but you could have waited for her to announce. And two, your state is underwater, Katie. This was not the best time. Like, could you make sure people stop dying first? Can you make sure people are good first? But don't let me tell it.
That's the Ron D move.
Yeah, don't let me tell it. Let me show y'all. Here we go.
Y'all who are talking about Katie Porter running for Senate in 2024 are missing half the story. Congresswoman Katie Porter announced today that she will be running for Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat in 2024. The thing is, Dianne Feinstein, who has served as a senator from California since 1992, expressed that she had no plans to vacate her seat. Literally, just 1 month ago, when Governor Newsom was asking her, do you plan to finish your Senate term? And do you plan to run again in 2024? Or like, what's up? She said, yeah, I'm going to finish my term. And I don't know, maybe at 91 years old, I will run for another 6-year term in the Senate. So here's what might be happening. Dianne Feinstein very likely said she's not going to run in 2024, which is why Katie Porter announced that she is. Now, is there a possibility that Feinstein's going to vacate her seat early and Gavin Newsom can appoint Katie to that seat? I don't know, but I'll be watching.
But you still let somebody bow out gracefully. And you don't really announce when the people you represent are literally fighting for their lives right now.
Yeah.
That's like announcing your wedding at your grandfather's funeral. Yeah. Like, yeah, we're gonna be happy for you in a minute. We'll support you in a minute, but bruh, we ain't even closed the casket yet. What are you doing?
We're discussing a wedding reception in a town that a tornado just blew through or something. Yeah.
Katie, when Katie Porter was sitting there reading that book about not giving a fuck, she meant that shit. She meant that shit. She meant that shit. Y'all might want to keep that in mind. She meant that shit.
She's been hanging with what's her name, Cinema. Who said, I'm an independent.
And did you hear about the rules that Cinema has for her staffers? Going grocery shopping with her, checking with her to see if she needs a massage scheduled. I would have looked at her like, bitch, what?
Like Amber Heard? Did you heard?
We're past slavery. I'm free now. I will smack you across this table. Girl, you'll be up in this office all by yourself. Don't nobody need a job that bad. And here's the thing. For those of you all that feel like, I don't care what age you are, because you can get your big break or your foot in the door to your dream career field at any age. Truly. Okay? The only limits you have are the limits you put on yourself. But stop allowing people to take advantage of you because you want the experience. You're not going to get experience from people like this. You're going to think that your career job field is about you being a butler to somebody. You're not really going to get to learn the inner workings, because if you think she's going to teach these people anything or give them real responsibility, you are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying to take young, impressionable people and turn them into a coalition of her personal assistants. Just hire a personal assistant. There are people who signed up to do that stuff. That'll get you your massages, get you your groceries, get your clothes together. Not staffers. Imagine going to college and hitting the pavement hard, because a lot of these staffers are not nepotism babies. They're people who stumbled upon the right place at the right time and talked their way into that position. So imagine working that hard, and now all of a sudden, your job on Capitol Hill is to go get this fake ass broad's groceries. I would flip everything over in that damn office. I ain't playing. Everything would be flipped over.
It's the Arizona way.
I would flip everything over and then call my friends to come meet me so they can help me just flip stuff over going down the hallway.
Arizona's Florida West.
Well, shoot, Arizona is complaining about her. I'm like, ooh, Cinema, you done messed up.
Even a crazy state complain about
They too far. They were like, oh, we liked your little bit of craziness before. Now you got a lot of bit of no.
She's too new. Number one, she's too new. Like, she just fresh in. I mean, she was not a senior. Yeah.
Let's not forget the audacity of Byron Donalds, who was like, I'm qualified. Bitch, they nominated you because Hakeem Jeffries is a black man. They Herschel Walker'd your ass.
Oh, Joy Reid. Yeah,
4 Republicans that are black that were involved in that Speaker of the House vote for the Republic. And he said something about, I'm qualified for what? To get smacked across the, because I'm telling you, while I was recording. Oh, and for the person, I know you in here lurking, that commented on my video going, that's not misogynoir. You Joy Reid super fans. I'm not a Joy Reid super fan, but I am a black woman. And yes, I do know what misogynoir is. And Byron Donalds, just because he is a black man, does not mean that he is not anti-black woman. And through that whole interview, he showed unequivocally with his whole damn chest that he was anti-black woman. And the clip that was played, that I have that up there too on my page for full disclosure, he buys into and identifies himself as racial tropes, because he says he's a black man because he was raised by, get ready for the tropes, y'all, a single mother and grew up in the inner city. What in the stereotype And then he sat there. No. It's your show. I'll let you get the last word, but you're wrong. What the heck? When I tell you, hold on. I got it. When I tell you, fuck a gentle parenting. I wanted to take this and be like, come here, Byron. I just want to talk to you. Come here. Come here. I'm your Gigi today. Bend it on over.
But always surprised he's in Florida because don't the crazies just lurk in Florida? I mean, there's just a whole lot in Florida.
It's a whole lot of good brain cells to rub together.
I'm sure he got together and had a chit chat with Mr. Scott from South Carolina about what it must be like to have a room so bright, and there you are. Because it's got to feel pretty lonely, except for the fact that you shoveling the same stuff. So, yeah, that's why.
Chris, I'm gonna whisper this because I don't want to jinx it. We're to the last video of the night. Guess who has not made an appearance? And we ain't had no technical difficulties.
You right about that.
I think 2023 likes us.
Shows in a row that I didn't get muted, that we didn't have the ginger booted.
I think 2023 like us, Chris.
I think the fact that if we're both ginger, it's okay.
That is a good point. That is another reason.
So, yeah, go ginger. Yes.
Okay, now I saved this video for last because y'all know I love a good clapback. And I especially love a president of the Senate clapback. And was this clapback delicious? It was, think of your favorite dessert and add whipped cream to that dessert. It was that delicious. So I'm going to share this with y'all. It's delicious. Bend your palate. Get ready.
So I'm happy to entertain a question from the senator from Texas, and then I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you. Madam President, I wonder if the senator would tell me the bill that the Police Act that it sounds like the Democratic Conference intends to block tomorrow includes the anti-lynching legislation that you and Senator Booker have championed. Are you aware of that?
The same one that Rand Paul obstructed a couple weeks ago? Yes, I am aware of that.
So you're going to block, Madam President, so the senators are going to block their own anti-lynching bill by their vote tomorrow?
Absolutely not, and I think that it is important that we not distract the American people from the task at hand. We cannot pull out a specific component of this bill and leave everything else in the garbage bin. And that is the logical and actual and practical conclusion of where you're going with the suggestion that we would sacrifice issues like no-knock warrants, issues like national standard for use of force, issues like the need for independent investigations of police misconduct, issues like pattern and practice investigations with subpoena power for the United States Department of Justice in sake of one. It's like asking a mother, save one of your children and leave the others.
Madam President, would the senator yield for another question?
Absolutely.
Madam President, is the senator certainly is familiar with the rules of the Senate, which allow senators to offer amendments to improve legislation once we get on it. But if the Democratic Conference is going to prevent the Senate from actually getting on the bill, there's no opportunity for anyone, any senator, you or any one of us, to offer amendments to improve it. And I would further ask the senator, Aren't you aware of the fact that there are 60 vote thresholds on the back end?
Yeah.
Don't you just love an eloquent clap back? She clapped him back to 1974. He was stumbling and stammering and trying to pull bullshit out of nowhere. Ow!
Yeah, he was pulling Jim Crow era.
He was trying. You know what? He was the little engine that could not. I mean, he was not Thomas. He was not Thomas the Train. He was just a little engine that could not. Okay. He's a misfit toy that can't come chill on the island with us. He can't. No.
Right.
He got to stay over there.
Yeah. Those are such wonderful moments, and we're just getting started because we know the circus is just getting warmed up over there on the right. So we're going to have so much material coming out of there from things that just don't make sense, just don't help the majority of Americans, just purely an agenda. So yeah, we're going to have a lot more, unfortunately, but nonetheless, they can bury their own graves when it comes voting time again. Because yeah, let's within the first week or first several days, let's go back to attacking abortion and women's reproductive rights. Yeah, that's the way to champion the moment, by burying yourself for the next election cycle, because that's what it's going to do. They didn't learn a single lesson. They're feeding the minority voices on their side. The majority of Americans, they're like, oh, you want to keep going down this road? Okay, let's see your next batch of candidates, because they're going down.
Yep.
And everything I was seeing today, talking about that, told me, yeah, they don't care. They're not out to learn lessons. They're out to fuel their benefactors. They're out to fuel the grifts. And we're talking about a minority. We're not talking about the majority voice of Americans. So, yeah, you're supposed to learn lessons. They don't know how.
Very, very true. And let me implore everyone. Excuse me. First of all, if you like today's show, please share it. Also, like, subscribe, and click the bell.
I did. I like today's show.
Click the bell so you get notifications for all of the uploads and every time I go live, because I do post other content, other videos up here to keep you updated in real time, because I can't just stop everything to report on everything. But I would like to implore you, make sure you contact your senators, your representatives, regarding Social Security and Medicare, because they are trying to take it away. Do not think, oh, well, I'm young, I can save. Bullshit. We live in the United States. The likelihood of you being able to save appropriately to sustain your life, slim to none. And Social Security can't really sustain you, but it is a help. It is a buffer. You've paid into it. You deserve it. You're owed it. I mean, I ain't gonna get it, but the rest of y'all gonna get it. So make sure it is safe and protected, and talk to your friends, talk to your families, tell them, hey, flood them with emails, flood them with calls, at them on Twitter. Oh, I don't know how they get any work done, because them motherfuckers always on Twitter. If they have a TikTok, if they have a Facebook, flood the comments. Let them know this is not what you want. Silence makes them believe that you are compliant, that you are in agreement with the bullshit that the GOP wants to do. Let them know, honey boo boo, no.
Yeah, that's just one thing on their list of things they're doing to everyone.
And if y'all could just do me a teensy tiny little favor. If you have Twitter, Could y'all just remind Lauren Boebert that she didn't get her GED until right before she was sworn in, and it took her 3 tries, and she's not that smart, and that her voter base really didn't want her because she won by a slim margin when it comes to voting. Just, just a little favor, just a little.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what had happened, but she didn't exactly block me, but I can't at her on Twitter anymore. I wonder why.
Let's just say that she couldn't sit down and have a conversation about academics with her former or her, savior down in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, just keep in mind she's married to a pedophile. Her mother is a racist, and she's an idiot. So it's not like she's a good person.
She learned the pole.
Up her butt.
She learned the pole. She just didn't do well at the polls.
I mean, she learned to poll from what we hear from Ted Cruz. Rafael Cruz. My apologies.
De Cancun.
So, but as always, thank you for joining us here. Y'all know we always go out with the video. Keep in mind,
get the merch.
Yes, please do. This last video that's gonna play before the outro video, it is satirical regarding Christianity, but there is truth in satire, and it's still funny. And don't message me afterwards because I don't give a damn. I don't. And don't go, but isn't your dad a pastor? Yep. And I sent this video to him because I don't give a damn. He can't change his will nor his life insurance policy at this point.
Woo, right. That's right.
And he old as shit. So, and any of y'all that want to screen record that and send it to my daddy, he already knew what I was going to say tonight. So, and he going to watch it in the morning anyway. He watches all of my shows the next day. He knows who he raised. The hook.
Wednesday's Gingercast. Yep.
Yeah, because he still has hope that Chris will rub off on me and I'll be more mellow. No. I am who I am.
This is me mellow. Yeah. There's still the ginger side of me that is not on Wednesdays.
They ain't ready for that, Chris.
No.
They're not ready for Carnival, Chris. They're not.
I'm okay being the sidekick here.
They're not ready for Carnival, Chris.
No.
And speaking of which, we need to figure out if y'all are doing Carnival this year.
Good question. That's still a long ways away. So
yeah,
who knows?
You gotta figure that out. Because if so, we might be able to do a side-by-side show where y'all see us shoulder to shoulder.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see the Bahamas come out.
Oh yeah, you definitely will. Especially if he takes me someplace where I can find some really good French fries.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you know what? That is what's gonna get me kidnapped one day. French fries. Somebody will have a plate and be like, "You want some French fries?" I do.
We got French fries in this passenger van over here. Really?
But as always,
way to lure you in. Yeah, that's. We didn't need candy. We didn't need money. But we have fries in the van. Okay.
And then if they say, "Oh, we threw some bacon and some cheese on the fries," you did.
And they're hot. They're fresh.
Oh, what you got to drink in there? Oh, you got.
Yeah. We got some of that special grape juice.
Oh, here I come.
Yes.
And then here will be Chris. Why did you get in the van? Because the fries were good. Can you get out of here? I don't think I can.
Then it'll be like Wednesday night. Get into it with Chris. It'll be like, where's your sidekick? I'll be like,
you got in the van.
I'm a one-man show until the passenger van comes back. Because once they run out of those fries, she's getting out of there.
And
you telling me there's no more. You tell me there's no more fries. I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have attitude too. Like, you promised me endless fries.
Yes.
And they'll be like, "Well, we didn't think you was gonna eat that many fries. That was not part of the agreement. My consumption count. We didn't negotiate that, but
that just got me to the van. You didn't keep me.
And then you'll see a news report.
You ran out of grape juice and fries.
And they'll be like, guys stuck on the side of the road and failed kidnapping attempt. Where's your van? I think she drove it home.
We saw the remnants of some bacon and chili and some baskets that used to have something that smelled like potatoes or something, but some spilled. We thought it was blood, but no, it was some grape juice. And no one was there except for the driver. And
you know, if I spill wine, I'm mad. You done pissed me off. You ran out of potatoes.
Those grapes, special.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. I almost took one of my own kids out at a restaurant because they reached over trying to take my fries. No, baby, no. Wait for your next order of fries to come.
Yeah.
But as always, I will see you all tomorrow. And each one teach one, each one reach one. Remember, this next video is satire. Do not message me. I ain't gonna listen anyway.
Because sadly, in the United States, religion, women, and the family are all under attack by its godless population. Good Christian men are no longer allowed to marry children, which was commonplace before America's decline into degeneracy. What's more, by allowing gay people to marry, straight marriages are no longer valid. By eliminating traditional gender roles, women are now allowed to exercise their free will in such audacious spaces as the workplace and even the voting booth. Now, in this new dystopia, women are brutally denied the opportunity to have men control every aspect of their lives. No longer can they choose to have a family, but even worse than that, no longer can a man have the freedom to force them to have a family. Though with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, there may be some light at the end of that birth canal. For now, at least women can be forced to have babies. Hopefully, this is a sign of a new Christian revival, and if it continues, maybe we'll be able to force people to do other things as well.